Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. I'm Jess, and today I have a trivia quiz for you. So, 100 questions coming up. Are you ready? Let's go. Which philosopher served as a tutor to Alexander the Great? Plato, Socrates, or Aristotle? Aristotle. Which ancient Mesopotamian ruler is known for creating one of the earliest written legal codes? And it's one of these three. It's Hammurabi. What caused the formation of continents as we know them today? Plate tectonics, volcanic eruptions, or earthquakes? Plate tectonics. Australia is home to which unique monotreme species? Kangaroo, platypus, or wombat? It's the platypus. Which ancient leader famously wept because he believed there were no more worlds to conquer? Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, or Julius Caesar? Alexander the Great. What was the primary function of the Roman Senate during the Republic? To pass laws, elect consuls, or advise magistrates? To advise magistrates. What ancient supercontinent existed before the continents split apart? Atlantis, Pangaea, or Gondwana? Pangaea. Which large rock formation in Australia is a sacred site for the Angagu people? Mount Kosciuszko, Uluru or Ayers Rock, or the Great Barrier Reef? It's Uluru or Ayers Rock. What was one of the primary reasons for the collapse of the Roman Republic? Internal political corruption and civil wars, economic decline, or foreign invasions? It was internal political corruption and civil wars. How did Alexander the Great manage to integrate the cultures of his vast empire? By promoting cultural exchange and adopting local customs. What phenomenon causes Australia's unique flora and fauna? It's geographic isolation. Who was the first Roman emperor marking the end of the Republic? Tiberius, Augustus, or Nero? It was Augustus. What major geological event split Africa and South America into separate continents? Continental drift, Ice Age movement, or meteor impact? It was continental drift. Which ancient Persian ruler allowed conquered peoples to retain their customs and religions? Xerxes, Darius III, or Cyrus the Great? Cyrus the Great. Which political concept introduced by the Romans still influences modern government systems? Feudalism, republicanism, or divine right? Republicanism. What oceanic feature surrounding Australia is essential for protecting its coasts? Coral reefs, rocky cliffs, or sandbanks? Coral reefs. What led to the downfall of the Athenian political system after the Peloponnesian War? Internal strife and economic decline, Spartan dominance, or Persian invasion? It was internal strife and economic decline. What technique allowed geologists to confirm that continents were once connected? Radiocarbon dating, seismograph analysis, or fossil distribution and rock formations? Fossil distribution and rock formations. What is the term for the original inhabitants of Australia? Aboriginal Australians. What strategic marriage strengthened Alexander the Great's ties to Persia? His marriage to Cleopatra, his marriage to Roxana, or his marriage to Olympus? His marriage to Roxana. Which natural disaster shaped the Australian landscape over millions of years? Volcanic eruptions and erosion, massive flooding, or tsunamis? Volcanic eruptions and erosion. The ancient kingdom of Macedonia was located in which modern-day region? Northern Greece and surrounding areas. How did early explorers perceive Australia upon discovery? A desolate, barren land, a frozen wasteland, or a tropical paradise? A desolate, barren land. What is the name of the tectonic boundary that runs through Australia? Eurasian Plate, Indo-Australian Plate, or Pacific Plate? Indo-Australian Plate. What major river in Australia is crucial for agriculture? Hunter River, Darling River, or Murray River? It's the Murray River. What helped Alexander the Great maintain control over his vast empire? Dividing territories under loyal governors. What is one reason Australia is home to so many venomous species? Its tropical weather patterns, human intervention, or its evolutionary adaptations for survival in a harsh environment? Its evolutionary adaptations for survival in a harsh environment. Which famous Roman general declared himself a dictator for life before being assassinated? Julius Caesar, Pompey, or Crassus? It was Julius Caesar. What was the primary form of payment used by peasants during medieval times? Coins, paper money, or barter system? It was the barter system. Which medieval currency was widely used for international trade in Europe? The ducat. What did the term "tis" refer to in early payment systems? Taxes for wars, a mandatory donation to the church, or payment for goods? A mandatory donation to the church. When were the first paper banknotes introduced? Ancient Rome, Tang Dynasty in China, or medieval Europe? The Tang Dynasty in China. Which innovation greatly facilitated the development of modern banking during the Renaissance? International trade fairs, gold coins, or double entry bookkeeping? Double entry bookkeeping. What precious metal formed the backbone of most medieval currencies? Copper, silver, or platinum? Silver. What is considered the first modern form of digital currency? Bitcoin, e-gold, or PayPal? It's e-gold. What was a major controversy surrounding the gold standard in the 20th century? It limited economic growth during crisis, its reduction of monetary supply, or it caused inflation. It limited economic growth during crises. Why did medieval merchants use bills of exchange? To reduce the risk of carrying large sums of coins, to convert currencies, or to store gold securely? To reduce the risk of carrying large sums of coins. What digital payment system was launched by Elon Musk's company in 1998? PayPal, Venmo, or Stripe? It's PayPal. Yes, if you didn't know, Elon Musk is behind that too. In medieval times, how were large debts often repaid? By borrowing from the church, by issuing promissory notes, or through land or services? Through land or services. Which event in 1971 marked a major shift in the global monetary system? End of the gold standard under President Nixon, creation of the World Bank, or introduction of the euro? End of the gold standard under President Nixon. What was the one major downside of the barter system in medieval economies? Difficulty in determining fair value for goods, limited trade routes, or high taxation? It was difficulty in determining fair value for goods. When was Bitcoin first mined? In 2009. What was the primary function of medieval money changers? Lending money, converting different currencies for trade, or collecting taxes? Converting different currencies for trade. How did the Industrial Revolution impact the use of paper money? It increased its circulation due to the expansion of banks and trade. What is a major criticism of cryptocurrency? Limited availability, its use in illegal transactions, or lack of scalability. Its use in illegal transactions. What was the role of guilds in medieval economic systems? Excuse me. They were regulated trade and standards of payment. When did credit cards become widely available to consumers? 1980s, 1950s, or 1920s? It was the 1950s. What system replaced the barter system as medieval economies became more complex? Paper money, metallic currency, or checks? It was metallic currency. Why were tally sticks used in medieval England? To record debts and payments, as a form of currency, or to track taxes owed to the crown? To track taxes owed to the crown. Which bank is considered the oldest in the world, still in operation today? Bank Monte dei Paschi de Siena. What controversial practice did medieval moneylenders often engage in? Printing fake coins, charging high interest rates considered usury, or hoarding gold? Charging high interest rates. What is a significant environmental concern related to cryptocurrency? It produces electronic waste. It cannot be recycled. It's energy-intensive mining process. Its energy-intensive mining process. What did the term fiat currency? What did the term fiat currency originate from? Government-issued money not backed by a physical commodity, the use of gold coins, or the Latin meaning by decree? It was government-issued money not backed by physical commodity. What event in the early 21st century led to the rise of decentralized digital currencies? The 2008 financial crisis. What percentage of global transactions are estimated to be cashless today? 40%, 20%, or 75%? 40%. What was a drawback of using gold as a currency in ancient economies? It rusted over time, its weight made it difficult to transport in large quantities, or it was easy to counterfeit. Its weight made it difficult to transport in large quantities. How did the Medici family revolutionize banking in the Renaissance? By introducing ATMs, by issuing bonds, or by creating the first multinational bank? By creating the first multinational bank. Which meat became synonymous with English tradition and was often eaten on Sundays? Lamb, roast beef, or chicken? Roast beef. Why was meat considered a luxury in medieval Japan? Religious taboos against eating animals. What was the primary source of protein for the Inuit people? Fish, seal and whale meat, or reindeer? Seal and whale meat. Which queen from Africa is credited with resisting European colonialization in the 16th century? Queen Nzinga, Queen Ranavalona, or Queen Makeda? Queen Nzinga. Maria Theresa of Austria was the mother of how many children? 16, 6, or 12? "16". Which queen was famous for her connection to Arthur's legend? Guinevere, Queen Boudica, or Queen Ellen? Queen Boadicea. What was the first meats human domesticated for consumption? Fish, deer, or sheep? It was sheep. In medieval Europe, what was the most common meat consumed by peasants? Pork. In ancient Egypt, what meat was reserved primarily for the wealthy? Beef, fish, or goat? Beef. What is the name of the preserved meat product developed by Native Americans? Jerky, smoked ham, or pemmican? It's pemmican. Which region is credited with the invention of curing meats like ham? South America, Europe, specifically Italy, or Asia? It's Europe, specifically Italy. Love their cured meats. In the Roman Empire, what type of meat was often served at banquets? Suckling pig. Which civilization first popularized the use of spices to preserve meat? Greece, India, or the Vikings? India. Which queen ruled both Spain and England through marriage? Catherine of Aragon, Isabella I of Castile, or Mary I of England? Mary I of England. Cleopatra VII of Egypt famously aligned herself with which two Roman leaders? Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Catherine the Great of Russia is credited with modernizing which aspect of her country? Military technology, education and government administration, or religious institutions? Education and government administration. Queen Victoria held the title Empress of which country? South Africa, India, or Canada? Empress of India? Which French queen was known for her elaborate court and influence during the Renaissance? Catherine de' Medici. Who was the first female pharaoh of Egypt? Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, or Cleopatra? Hatshepsut. The defeat of which fleet in 1588 established England as a dominant naval power? The French Armada, the Venetian fleet, or the Spanish Armada? The Spanish Armada. Which treaty ended the war between England and France in 1559 during Elizabeth's early reign? The Treaty of Cateau-Cambrésis. What key issue caused tension between Elizabeth I and Parliament throughout her reign? Taxes, her refusal to marry and produce an heir, or religious reforms? Her refusal to marry and produce an heir. Which country posed the greatest threat to Elizabeth I during her reign? Spain, Scotland, or France? It was Spain. Which infamous event marked a failed attempt to assassinate Elizabeth I? The Ridolfi Plot, the Babington Plot, or the Essex Rebellion? The Ridolfi Plot. What was the purpose of Elizabeth I's Privy Council? To advise the Queen on state matters. Who was Elizabeth I's most trusted advisor and Secretary of State? Sir Walter Raleigh, Sir William Cecil, or Sir Francis Drake? Sir William Cecil, Lord Burleigh. How did Elizabeth I strengthen England's naval power? By negotiating peace treaties, by supporting privateers like Sir Francis Drake, or by uniting with France? By supporting privateers like Sir Francis Drake. What was the relationship between Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots? They were allies, they were sisters, they were cousins and rivals. They were cousins and rivals. What causes a tsunami to occur? Underwater earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. What atmospheric condition is essential for hurricanes to form? Cold ocean waters, warm ocean waters and moist air, or low humidity? Warm ocean waters and moist air. What is the main cause of tornadoes? Collision of warm and cold air masses, or high altitude volcanic activity? It's the collision of warm and cold air masses. Landslides often occur because of heavy rain, or seismic activity weakening the soil. What is the Ring of Fire associated with? Earthquakes and the volcanic eruptions around the Pacific Ocean, desertification, or global warming? Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions around the Pacific Ocean. How are blizzards formed? Pressure from mountain glaciers, moisture-filled cold air colliding with warm air, or excessive melting of glaciers? Moisture-filled cold air colliding with warm air. What was a hallmark of women's fashion in the 1920s? Corsets and full skirts, platform shoes, flapper dresses with dropped waistlines. It was those flapper dresses with their dropped waistlines. The iconic new look introduced by Christian Dior in 1947 featured clinched waists and full flowing skirts, military-inspired suits or baggy trousers and oversized shirts. It was cinched waists and full flowing skirts. Which material revolutionized 1960s fashion? Silk, synthetic fabrics like polyester and vinyl, or wool? It was synthetic fabrics like polyester and vinyl. In the 1970s, which trends defined men's and women's fashion? Bell-bottom pants and platform shoes. Which accessory became synonymous with 1950s fashion? Fedora hats, pearl necklaces and cat-eye glasses, or large hoop earrings? Pearl necklaces and cat-eye glasses. What iconic 1980s fabric was commonly used in workout fashion? Denim, spandex, or corduroy? Spandex. Which silhouette dominated women's fashion in the 1930s? Bell-shaped dresses, short flared skirts, or long, slim-fitting gowns with a bias cut? Long, slim-fitting gowns with a bias cut. Which fashion icon became famous for her little black dress in the 1920s? Elsa Schiaparelli, Jacqueline Kennedy, or Coco Chanel? Of course, Coco Chanel. And your last one. What was the influence of jazz culture on 1920s fashion? Art Deco-inspired jewellery and flapper dresses. So, how did you do today? Drop your score in the comments below and of course like and subscribe so you get notified every time we post a new quiz. And please, join us next time on Quiz Time.